high level of buy-in to the fact that you may need to give up some personal liberties in order to save lives around the world. And so it really is quite embarrassing when you read that report to think of the other countries that we compare ourselves to and that we think of ourselves as leaders among, and see how poorly we've done in comparison.
In fact, I do want to provide even more information on that perspective because it did catch my eye as well. When measured by deaths per 100,000 people, the U.S. mortality rate is 50 times higher than Japan's, more than twice as high as Canada's, according to this report. The U.S. and South Korea, don't forget, both confirmed their first case of coronavirus on January 20th. But South Korea, they instituted aggressive testing and isolation strategy, and that has led to a mortality rate today that is 78 times less than the U.S. Why is such a difference?
Subtle at all. Yeah, those are not subtle differences. Those aren't like, you tease out these tiny little differences. They're dramatic. You can see them from across the room. And remember, Japan actually has an incredibly high rate of elderly people. And even so, even with that huge vulnerable population, they did so much better than we did. And of course, South Korea, only about 400 some deaths. And it really is, such a big difference to do simple things early. I mean, South Korea instituted a really aggressive testing and contact tracing program, and also had a very different culture around mask wearing. I mean, I am South Korean, and when I visited, even when I was young, if I was about to go out and the air pollution wasn't good, or I had a little cold and I was about to get on a bus, my grandmother would put a mask on me, just saying that it wasn't polite to go out and expose others in that way. So I think there wasn't any of this kind of American silliness around resisting masks and feeling that it's such a great imposition. It was something you did as a courtesy to those around you. So just very different cultural attitudes towards simple things like mask wearing.
And again, it just makes me think of the old saying, treat others the way you want to be treated. We wear the mask to protect others, not necessarily ourselves, especially mentioning that asymptomatic spread. You never know if you could be carrying the virus. Dr. Esther Chu, good to see you here. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Coming up, the CNN